My name is Ethan, and 6 months ago, my world smelled like stale coffee and desperation. I was stuck in the rigid, grey reality of a shared flat in East London, along with my 3 best friends, Sophia, Julian, and Alex. We were all ambitious, all smart, and all trapped in the endless, unforgiving grind of middle-class London life. I was bouncing between soul-crushingly dull finance temp jobs. Sophia, the brilliant one, was constantly coding small, frustrating apps. Julian was pure, effortless charm, a born hustler. And Alex was the quiet genius of logistics. We didn't just share rent. We shared a profound collective hunger for escape. The plan, the insane, beautiful plan, was hatched over cold pizza and a bottle of 2-pound wine. We were talking about getting rich, not gradually, but instantly. That's when Sophia, always digging into obscure data, stumbled upon it. A glitch. A tiny, almost invisible loophole buried deep within the UK import duty laws concerning specific categories of specialty synthetic fabrics and footwear from certain ASEAN nations. The short, criminal version. If you packaged cheap, mass-produced shoes from Thailand just right, they could be declared under a complex, low-tariff code meant for niche industrial components. The genius of the strategy, which was Sophia's masterpiece, was its quiet exploitation of bureaucracy. We weren't going to smuggle drugs. We were going to smuggle paperwork. Our target market was saturated with consumer vanity. The operation was simple. Import high-quality, ultra-cheap athletic shoes from an anonymous Thai factory. Use a hidden London warehouse to apply our own designer branding, a quick stencil and expensive-looking packaging, and sell them online at a colossal markup. Julian, the face, would sell the narrative of the Soho Collection's limited exclusivity. Alex would manage the warehousing and tricky port logistics. Sophia and I would handle the money, the legal declarations, and the internal operations. Our seed money was a desperate fusion of every penny we had. My student loan refunds, every scraped saving, and me having to sell a rare vintage record collection I swore I'd take to the grave. It felt terrifying, exhilarating, and completely illegal. When the first shipment finally arrived in unmarked wooden crates labeled simply Industrial Synthetics, we toasted in a freezing Hackney warehouse unit. We were no longer just 4 friends. We were a highly profitable criminal enterprise. The success was explosive, overwhelming the projections we had nervously drawn up on bar napkins. The market bought the exclusivity instantly, driven by Julian's pitch-perfect marketing. In under 2 years, we weren't just solvent. We were embarrassingly wealthy. The cramped East London flat was a memory, replaced by individual luxurious apartments in Chelsea. The cheap wine was now vintage Barolo. We were suddenly wearing the clothes and driving the cars that, just a year prior, had been an inaccessible dream. The money had worked its corrosive magic quickly. But quick wealth is a test no friendship should have to face. The sudden financial freedom magnified every existing insecurity and every hidden flaw, creating new, ugly cracks in our foundation. The core of our group, once built on trust and shared desperation, began to fracture under the weight of immense, shared greed. Our late-night planning sessions, full of nervous laughter, turned into brutal, late-night arguments over profit splits, tax structuring, and who was doing less work. For me, the chaos of success brought a clarity of personal desire. I had always admired Sophia, but now, watching her brilliance weaponized for immense profit, I found myself falling deeply in love with her. I saw our partnership as something profound, something lasting, something that could exist beyond the money. Sophia, however, had undergone the most severe transformation. The intellectual thrill of cracking the financial code and exploiting the system had utterly consumed her. She wasn't interested in romance. She was interested only in optimization. My attempts at heartfelt connection were met with cold efficiency. She saw our relationship purely as a functional business partnership, obsessed only with scaling the operation and ruthlessly eliminating any threats to our cash flow. Meanwhile, Julian and Alex, bored by their relentless spreadsheets and fueled by arrogance, started looking for the next big win. Their ambition mutated into reckless entitlement. Julian, easily seduced by the shadowy, high roller figures his new wealth attracted, began investing large chunks of company capital in incredibly dubious side ventures. Things involving unregulated currency trading and exclusive club ownership that reeked of money laundering. Alex, our brilliant logistics expert, grew paranoid that the shoe customs loophole was too exposed. Without consulting Sophia or me, he unilaterally decided to diversify the import business. Instead of just trainers, he started bringing in high-value, low-weight items under the same declaration codes. Things like counterfeit, high-end electronics. This was the dangerous turn. They had moved us from exploiting a clever bureaucratic glitch to engaging in serious, federal-level organized crime, putting the entire operation at severe, immediate risk. The internal pressure finally hit critical mass. I, now caught between my desperate desire for Sophia and my profound moral disgust over the escalating illegality, confronted Alex and Julian in a cold fury. I accused them of endangering everything we had built and potentially sending us all to prison. Julian merely sneered, dismissing me as the nervous bookkeeper, and then, with cruel precision, mocked my unrequited feelings for Sophia. The inevitable complication arrived swiftly. A large shipment of Alex's counterfeit electronics was flagged at customs, not for the shoes, but for the inexplicable weight and material discrepancies compared to the legal declaration code. Customs immediately launched a full, systemic audit of every consignment we had ever processed. Our carefully constructed loophole hustle was visibly unraveling, revealing the undeniable underlying criminality of the past 2 years. As the stakes reached terrifying new heights, facing not just financial ruin, but long prison sentences, the four friends turned venomously on each other. Julian demanded Alex financially cover the legal damage. Alex screamed that Julian had squandered the capital on shady investments. Sophia, finally jolted from her obsession with optimization, focused only on destroying the paper trail, sacrificing any remaining moral consideration for pure, icy self-preservation. Watching the friendship I had valued more than the money disintegrate into a vicious, greedy mess, finally understood the true, corrosive cost of our ambition. The quick wealth had poisoned every single relationship we had, and the empire we built was rotten to the core. The friendship was already gone. The only question remaining was who would be the first to sell out the others to survive the impending legal fallout. The final ending arrived in a chaotic, screaming confrontation in the same Hackney warehouse where we had celebrated our first shipment. Julian accused me of being a jealous, weak link. Sophia condemned Alex for his recklessness, and Alex accused Sophia of hiding money. I, watching the wreckage, made my final, definitive choice. I simply walked out, taking with me a single, encrypted laptop containing the complete, unedited financial records that documented not only the original loophole fraud, but every single illegal transaction that followed. I chose my integrity over my loyalty. The consequences were devastating for everyone but me. Julian and Alex were caught by authorities trying to flee the country after Sophia tipped off the police about their movements. A final, brutal act of self-interest designed to buy her more time. Sophia, brilliant but now totally isolated, managed to evade immediate arrest but lost everything, her assets frozen, her reputation destroyed, left alone with nothing but her immense intelligence and a mountain of legal debt. Having delivered the evidence anonymously to the authorities, faced my own financial and moral reckoning. I lost the fortune and the woman I loved, but I retained my conscience. The final resolution saw me working to humbly rebuild my life, stripped bare of the ill-gotten wealth, but finally free of the moral compromises. The story closes with the memory of that exhilarating, terrifying hustle, serving as a permanent, expensive reminder that the corrosive effects of unchecked ambition are far more costly than any import duty.